Hello, and welcome back to the Inferno. This is a little channel for healing from narcissistic abuse, toxic relationships, and we are on episode 34. Today's topic is: when are the most likely times that the narcissist will hide their new supply? If you're new to this, I do not like calling people, human beings, supply, but the reality of it is that if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, you are looked at as a supply source, a fuel source. So I'll validate you as a human being with feelings and emotions, and the narcissist will always invalidate you because they are just using you for something, and it's always going to end. So, episode 32. When are the most likely times that a narcissist will hide the new supply? First and foremost is if the narcissist was legally married to you and they do not want their persona to be shattered. They don't want their dirty deeds to be exposed to a court system where they have things of value up for distribution of fairness in the divorce process. So if you have put in years, sadly, like I did with a narcissist, and you're going through a divorce process, they will hide the new supply on social media, but normally they will not hide the new supply to the toxic family unit or even possibly family members that are not toxic, because you see, they've already smeared you to the people that are, quote, and I do put this in quotes, closest to them. You've already been smeared. You've already been demonized. You've already been made out to be the crazy lady or the abusive boyfriend or husband. And so they will take their new supply around their toxic family unit or the family that has already seen you in a facade of lies that the narcissist has smeared and slandered your name and your character to. But they will hide the new supply on social media until the divorce process is finalized. And then once that divorce process is finalized and everything is distributed, before the ink is even dry on that paper, the new supply may be shown to the outside world. So that's one of the first and foremost times that they will. When they're going through a divorce process, and I'm going to do a whole episode of this now that I'm finally through that whole battle. When they're going through that divorce process, they do not want, especially if you're in a state that does consider alimony and does consider one of the factors of receiving alimony from a narcissist, that cheating is one of those deciding factors for alimony. So I lived this, so make sure you're aware of it. They will hide that new supply from social media platforms. They will hide that new supply from bosses and coworkers if they had that affair at work and they're married. I lived that as well. So what are another reason that they may hide the new supply? They do not want their outward persona to be busted. They said, because we know that marriage means nothing to a narcissist, so they will hide that new supply if there's some persona that they're putting out to the outside world, because if they're married and they're cheating, oh my, which they slander you anyway, so that they don't want that outward persona to be tainted or shattered. So another one is when you're in a long-term enmeshment with them. So even if you're not legally married, but if you've been in a long-term relationship enmeshment with these narcissist, toxic abusers, and you've built couple friendships and this, that, and the other, they will also hide the new supply until maybe sometimes they do reveal the new supply, sometimes they don't. In the beginning, I know this for my experience in the beginning, just like with every person before me and how it'll be for every person after me, I was the best thing that ever happened to this boy, but so was the supply before me, and so is the supply after me. But then eventually, when they start to disengage from you, when they start having the illusion of you are their knight in shining armor or the best thing that ever happened to them, and they start to disengage and get bored with you and start grooming somebody else, um, they will sometimes hide that new supply because they don't want the new supply and the old supply to interact with each other. I'm not on social media, so this didn't play for me because I wasn't playing. I had already been betrayed by this person back in 2015. Did not identify this person as a narcissist. Stayed with this person after they cheated. Never again. I would never do that with anybody. Went through this forgiveness process with myself. Was continued to be future faked with this person. And then had the realization when I got blindsided that it was a narcissist that I was dealing with. And so they don't want the old supply and the new supply interacting with each other. But I'm too intuitive for that. So I found out who the new supply was very quickly and kind of shattered that plan. He wasn't able to keep playing me, and because he knew I was invested in him. Most of them do. They know when they get with somebody that's invested in them. In my instance, a marriage, fake marriage on his end, but very real for me, that once they have you hooked, that they can play you as long as they can with like a fiddle. And they don't want the old supply and the new supply and the current supply and the back burner supply to interact with each other because they might be able to share a little bit of truth. So that's another reason that they may hide a new supply. I did briefly already touch on this on my notes here. When you're already getting devalued and they're starting to disengage and starting to give you the silent treatment, but they're not quite ready to let go yet. They're not quite ready to jump nest and go to a different place and reside yet. They will hide the supply during that time as well. It's just a matter of whether they're ready to whether they have that next person groomed enough, whether they have that next person in cahoots with them that they've bought into that you're crazy and, you just never made them happy, and that they didn't know what they were doing when they married you, and that they faked loving you for 13 years. They will hide the new supply, but again, that gets busted by people who trust their intuition. And you know what? I believe God has a hand in it when you're finally ready to get out of that very abusive, toxic enmeshment with a narcissist. Things will be revealed. So always trust actions over words, because these people are walking lies. They lie to themselves. Another time that they will hide the new supply source is another reason that they will hide the new supply is for manipulation. So if you're going through a divorce process with this narcissist and you guys don't have everything finalized, which divorce processes with a narcissist are a fucking next level nightmare. And again, I will be doing an upcoming episode on this. Everything's about manipulation and control, and they will hide the new supply to manipulate the new supply as well, to play against the new supply's feelings and emotions. It's all about control. And so I already touched on this too. They don't want the new supply to have links to the past supply. Because a lot of times this doesn't work, especially if you have a narcissist that's been married and they've had a willing participant to help destroy you, to help blindside you. They won't have a worry about you two contacting, because that new supply's already bought into the thing that you were just a horrible wife. You were just a horrible significant other. You were the liar. You were the manipulator. You were the cheater. You were the one that was toxic. As we know, narcissists use the Darvo process. They deflect and put everything back at you and gaslight. So those are some of the main reasons that the new supply will be hidden. And again, I digress, but back to the point where once you become the dull supply to them, once you become a little less shiny to them, and they're always out there fishing, right? And on the days of online crap, it's so easy for them to get supply everywhere, globally. Again, it's not quality. It's just quantity for them. It's just a stroke to them. They will continue to manipulate. They will continue to control. They will continue to fish for other supply sources. So never think that you're the only one, because you never were and you never will be. And you start losing that little lustrous shine that they idealized you in their little screwed up brains, and they're ready to start fishing around for other supply sources with other people. You'll start being disengaged, not only in the physical, but in social media land. Because I remember looking back now that the fog is cleared and I'm being risen up out of this nightmare that I was on social media back in the day. In fact, I met the demon on Facebook, but he only lived a block away from me at his mommy's, and I should have never entertained him. However, it went from, posting pictures of him and I, and just ranting and raving about me, to slowly, it's a car that is his profile picture. And it's him making posts and whatnot on Facebook, and all of these other supply support sources that he's had in the past or in the present would never comment, never say anything if the dude shared about me as his wife or something about my children. But the minute he would share something else that didn't include his fake wife that he never loved, that he didn't know what he was doing when he said I do, that he took vows, they would interact with anything other than that. Chances are they're some sort of flying monkey. They are some sort of other supply source, whether it be stroke and ego. And let's just face it, in the land of social media, if a narcissist says, oh, I'm not on Facebook, and I'm not on Instagram, and I'm not on dating sites, call bullshit on it, because they just cannot handle the temptation of all of that energy and getting all of that supply and all of that fuel from social media. But again, they won't hide the new supply to the toxic flying monkeys that are in the family unit that they go back to, because you've already been demonized. Remember that. You've been smeared, and the smear campaign has been against you a lot longer. And if you look back through the situationship with that person, especially if you got some years in there and you're finally coming out of the fog, a lot of dots connect of, wow, this is why this family member treated me this way. Because the person that you thought you were married to, your husband or wife, was always gossiping. They're very gossipy. They have a forked tongue. They were talking shit about you and making up lies and smears about you from the get-go. So run from the fucking hills, because you are worthy of so much more than that. So those are some of the reasons that a narcissist will hide that new supply. But before that ink is even dry on the divorce papers, honey, they'll start bringing it out there, because that new idealized person is the answers to their prayers. The answers to the prayers to a person who is so severed in reprobate mind that they don't even actually believe in God. They believe in survival of the fittest. I hope this resonates. In the comments below, please let me know other reasons that you may have experienced that they will hide a new supply. And until the next time, shalom, shalom.